one of the challenges that Jim faced and that you face is the expansion of the university. As one person told me, a resident, we are not a college town. We are not a university town. We are a town with a university. And that's the way they look at it. And it's tough to expand in the city of Orange. And because of the success of Chapman now, it's become much larger. It's almost double what it was, 15, 20 years ago. 8,000 students, roughly. I think you want to expand, add another 3,000 students or so.
2 or 3.
And the residents are saying, no way, the city will let you do another 800 without further approval. And you talk to the residents a lot. How's that going?
Well, first of all, you said the residents don't want. I would say some residents don't want. I would even venture to say probably a minority, but of residents don't want it. But as you know from your profession, if the minority is vocal enough, then it may give the appearance that it's actually a majority. So the issues, it's typical of, to use that expression, of towns where there is a college or where there is a university. Our students, by and large, are very nice kids. I mean, they are very committed to learning. They're very committed to helping the community. Most of them are really socially oriented, so we really have great kids. But when you have 8,000 students, even if 1 out of 1,000 is misbehaving, the impact is visible. Yeah. And I think that what some residents have been complaining about has been the so-called party houses, where students exceed in their behavior. And unfortunately, this happens off campus, so the university doesn't have any authority to do anything. So we had conversation with the city, with the residents, with the mayor, with some of the council people. I think that we're going to find a way to find a middle ground. We will need to help the city by, for example, building more residence halls. We are considering the possibility of making mandatory for students to spend the first 2 years on campus. Now, if this were to happen, I would be willing to guarantee to you that the issue of party housing would essentially disappear. Because we know by experience that students are at their most excitable in the first 2 years. After they've gone through the first 2 years, first of all, they become more mature. They've kind of absorbed the novelty of being independent. Now they've been independent for 2 years, so there isn't this attraction to the party of Thursday night. But also they start thinking about internships, they start thinking about jobs. They're moving into adulthood. And so if we were to have, and we don't have yet the capacity, but we are working on that, if we had the capacity to grant every student and to ask every student to spend on campus the first 2 years, I think that would go a long way toward assuaging some of the concerns of the city.
So how do you get that capacity?
Well, we need to work with the city to help us probably acquire some pieces of land where we can build additional dorms. So that's actually is a good example of how we can work with the city, not in opposition. We cannot have the same goal. They want our students to be less troublesome. And we actually like the idea of having students on campus because this actually is shown to improve even graduation rate because they get less distracted. So these are goals that are compatible. We don't have the room, the space, but the city can probably help us with that. So I think that would be a very positive direction we can work
So
on.
just to close the loop for viewers, about 8,000 students now. You have authority from the city to go up to 8,800. So, but you would like to add on top of that another 3,000.
I would say maybe a couple thousand.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's where you will be negotiating.
That's right.
With the city and with the
and we understand that we let me just say this: we like being in Orange. It's a beautiful city. We would like the city to acknowledge how much we are giving to the city. That's something that is not always. Some of the less happy citizens don't recognize that we bring a tremendous prestige to the city. We have brought tremendous cultural events. Now we opened the beautiful new Musco Center, which means actually you can go to world-class shows just walking out of your home. We have brought tremendous business. I mean, the tax revenue that comes out of having a university like Chapman is gigantic. So we are not just a a portion of the city. We are actually a significant positive asset for the city.
Right, and I will say I talked to one of the neighborhood folks who works with you, Brian Lockery, serves on a committee, and while he made clear that there are what I think he would say are definite differences in attitude on this, he spoke highly of you.
Well, I appreciate that, and Brian and I have been working very well together. I think this is a good example in which you have people that have ultimately a different goal, but I think we can work together to find something that will satisfy both of us and it will make us both successful in what we want to do.
Let's talk about something that